It's a holiday, come on, celebrate and rejoice. It's Kwanzaa, spreading unity in our families and communities. It's Kwanzaa, because our legacy makes us so strong. Yeah. So let us come together to celebrate this season of Kwanzaa. It is Kwanzaa, it's time to celebrate and do so sober. On this day, we got umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, that is what we need. We gather around today to reflect upon our past. We've come so far, remembering all of those who came before us in Kwanzaa. From Rosa to Malcolm to Dr. King and Turner, yeah. From Dubois to Ashanti, we honor you on Kwanzaa. It is Kwanzaa, yeah. It's time to celebrate. On this day, we got umoja, Kujichagulia, that is what we need. Run, we light a candle as we reflect on what it means to love. We got the red for the black and black for us, and the green for the land, yes, for the land. It is Kwanzaa. Oh, it is Kwanzaa. Yeah. It's time to celebrate. Yeah. On this day, we need unity, self-determination, collective work and economic opportunity. Yeah. Purpose is what we need, and creativity. Faith is what we really need. Umoja, yeah. Kujichagulia, Ujamaa, faith is what we really need.
Yes. Oh, welcome everybody, welcome. I want you to give a big round of applause for my daughter, Kara Roseborough, for that beautiful performance. Oh my gosh, first day of Kwanzaa, umoja, unity. You know, in 1966, Dr. Malachut created Kwanzaa to give blacks and those Africans of African descent an opportunity to celebrate themselves and their history. Kwanzaa is based on 7 principles symbolized by the 7 candles that we see here of the Kinara that represent the values of African culture that help build and reinforce community amongst African Americans. Now, I found a poem written by a poet named the 7-Foot Poet, and it goes like this. It's about love. It's about life. It's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, our birthright. It's about love. It's about life. It's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, our birthright. We remember our glory, our stories, yesterday's, those that came before me, today's today, rebuilding our way, tomorrow, sunshine, good times, and learning from our sorrows. It's about love, it's about life, it's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, and our birthright. We have 7 principles of Kwanzaa represented by these 7 candles. The first one, Ujima, umoja in the center here is about unity. And that's what this day is about, our community unity. And then we have Kujichagulia, self-determination, Ujima, collective work and collective responsibility, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, Nia, purpose, Kuumba, creativity, and the last principle represented by the last candle on the Kinara is Imani, which means faith. So moving forward, community, the Evanston community and everyone else, I want you to join together, and I want you to help me to say Harambe, which in Swahili means to pull together. And we're going to do Harambe 7 times, and on the 7th time, we are going to sustain the Harambe. So we're going to do it 7 times, and you're going to repeat after me. The first one, Harambe!
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 Harambe! Harambe! Harambe! Harambe! Yeah! Have a happy Kwanzaa, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Peace and love.
Ancestors, do I have your permission to start the program?
You have my permission.
And I thank you, Santa Shana. We are going to do a simple libation, which we do to honor our ancestors. And usually it's poured into the earth. But today we have a wonderful living plant, and we're going to pour the water there. And as I say libation, you will say Ashe. So we begin. We give honor and thanks, O Creator, for our ancestors of our very, very past, all the way from the shores of Africa. Like we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
And we also pour for and honor our ancestors that we know as our own heroes, all the Harriet Tubmans and the Frederick Douglasses, and those names that we don't know, but somehow they helped us get where we are. We pour a libation and we say, Ashe. And for the last one, next to the last one, I want you to remember your ancestors, your personal ancestors, those who have gone past, but have taught you so much. Your grandfathers and your grandmothers and your aunts and your uncles. And we pour libation. We may call their names out. And we say, Ashe. And for the last, we pour and honor our future. Oh, our children. Those born unmet, they're not born. But we pour for their future. And we say libation and we say, Ashe. And so it is.
Habari gani? Habari gani? And habari gani? The final women of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Omega Pi Zeta Chapter welcomes you and your family to this year's City of Evanston's Kwanzaa Celebration. I am CM Winters Palacio, and the final women of our Omega Pi Zeta chapter are here in service, broadcasting live from the Robert Crown Community Center, and I can't wait for you to experience what is about to come your way. We applaud the work of Mr. Tim Rose and his entire team, and on behalf of my chapter, chartered here in the beautiful city of Evanston, Illinois, we wish all a very beautifully safe Kwanzaa season. Thank you.
I would like to introduce you
To Stephanie Lane Baker. She will be presenting African American History and Genealogy Study of Evanston and reading her poem, Sankofa Dictates.
I am so thrilled to be here to represent the African American Heritage and Genealogy Study Circle of Evanston. We do research into the ancestors, we help each other, we network, we do conferences, and of course, we give resources to future genealogists. And I want to invite you to join us in that. The poem I've written, Sankofa Dictates, is a poem that honors my group and my heritage. Threads that bind us together, woven, fragile, yet strongly connected to our hidden past. Legacies, knowledge. Sankofa dictates, retrieve the past, share the knowledge. Paper documents found in dusty old leather-bound courthouse journals. Sankofa dictates, retrieve the past, pass and drink from the cup of bittersweet history. Hidden away, but not forgotten. My skin, hair, and lips remember all too well. Sankofa dictates, retrieve the past, so that the generations that follow may prosper in its wisdom. Myriad strands of DNA untangle and share messages from the ancestors, surprising us with clarity and bridging the gaps left untold. Sankofa dictates, retrieve the past, share the knowledge, continue the links that bind us together as people of the art. Noble ancestors whose strength, courage, and conviction have given us a spiritual legacy few could utterly understand as we emerge and claim this glorious melanin-rich history. Sankofa dictates, retrieve the past, so that knowledge coupled with spiritual growth can assist humanity in its struggles to unite. We have been called people of the eye, and all that is before us is reflected in this pupil. The light of the Spirit shines forth, illuminating this world and bringing a healing message. Sankofa dictates.
I'd like to present a presentation of the 2021 Legacy of Cultural Excellence Award. Let me introduce you to Dr. Murphy and Dr. Murphy. Dr. Jean Murphy was a professor of education at Chicago State and an adjunct professor at National Bush University and the Erickson Institute, both in Chicago. Dr. Larry Murphy is a professor emeritus at the Garrett Evangelical Seminary in Evanston. After stepping down from teaching, the Murphys realized they were not yet ready to fully retire. Instead, they chose to open Yo Fresh Cafe, located on Chicago Avenue in the Evanston community, by providing an inviting communal space offering delicious, health-oriented food options. Along with Clarence and Wendy Weaver of C&W Market and Ice Cream Parlor, they co-founded the Black Business Consortium of Evanston and the North Shore, which sponsors the annual Tour de Nord Black Business Expo. Yo Fresh has partnered with the Evanston Public Library in its reading and literacy programs. They hosted a fundraiser in their cafe that enabled an African-American middle school student, to travel with classmates on a study tour in China. They have established a Yo Fresh Scholar program. Yo Fresh donates cups of frozen yogurt to the students and staff of the Rice Educational Center, a program of School District 65 for socially and emotionally challenged students. and partnered with C&W Market and Ice Cream Parlor and Jennifer Edibles Restaurant to deliver free meals and grocery provisions to senior citizens. Yo Fresh supports the Books and Breakfast program here in Evanston, which focuses on low-income school children in the District 202 school. Yo Fresh contributes space in their cafe at no charge for a mini bookstore for young, Black, and lit books, and hosted a pop-up event promoting the Juneteenth holiday and Black Lives Matter movement. We proudly present Dr. G. Murphy and Dr. Larry Murphy this year the Legacy of Cultural Excellence Award and induct them into the Evanston Council of Elders in appreciation for their contribution to the preservation of Black identity and service in our Evanston community. Thank you, Dr. Murphy, and thank you, Dr. Murphy. And I'd like to continue with Ms. Colette Allen. Colette Allen is an Evanston native, the daughter of Dr. Avery and Eleanor Hill. Colette always felt the need to do something for the community she loved. She was happy to bring her years of experience in nonprofit development, events, and management to Family Focus. She helped enhance after-school programming by partnering with Evanston STEM at NSI and bringing science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM activities to students lacking access outside the school. Ms. Allen, as Director of Family Focus, developed a partnership with Evanston Food Exchange where there was a rebirth of the garden, which not only grows produce given away to the community, but also serves as a learning lab for gardening, healthy eating, and cooking for all students and families who attend programs at the facility. She expanded the early childhood program, which serves parents and caregivers of children birth to 3 years of age. And dear to her heart was a campaign to renovate the theater at Family Focus. Working within the Foster School building, there was no way she could let down her mother, aunts, uncles, and friends who attended and loved the building and all it stood for. We proudly present this year 2021 Legacy of Cultural Excellence Award to Ms. Colette Allen and induct her into the Evanston Council of Elders in appreciation of her contribution to the preservation of Black identity and service to our Evanston community. Thank you, Ms. Colette Allen. And now for some rhythmic, soul-moving and moving from the African dance performance featuring Crystal Small, Brandon Avery, Kamaya Coleman, and Keats.
She said, I'm built to be on stage. My heart feel the beat of day. Now smile, 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 smile,
Sana, thank you so much. Such energy. Yes, so much energy. And now for a story for you. It is about the Seven Spools of Kwanzaa, written by Angela Shelf Medeiros and adapted by me. Now, in a small African village in Ghana, there was an old man who had sons. Not 2, not 4, not 5, but 7 sons. Oh, and they were handsome. Their skin was just as smooth and dark as mahogany, and their limbs strong and straight as a warrior's spears. The father, because his wife had died, was both father and mother, mama and baba to the 7 sons. But they were a disappointment to him. Oh, they quarreled about everything. If they went to the land to harvest lots of fruit and vegetables, one would say, "Oh, it's too hot. We should not be here." Another said, "No, I feel a cool breeze. I think I agree with this one. It is way too hot. I'm going to take a rest. No, we must keep on working." And so they would argue and work. And finally, at the end of the day, someone said, "You know, the sun is beginning to set. We need to leave. Go home. I think Dad has gotten us some food." "Oh, no, it's not. Because we have to pick all this corn. We have to do this." "No." "Why? We stay so late. It's time to go." Well, they argued and argued until it was almost midnight, and darkness was ascending upon the land. And therefore, they started back towards the house. And sure enough, Baba had a big old, my goodness, I can see all those wonderful, luscious vegetables there, just milling around in that big pot of stew. Well, he gave everyone enough, he thought. And the youngest said, "Oh, how am I ever going to grow if I get this small a portion of food?" And the oldest said, "Well, if you don't want it, I'll take some. Grab some. Yum. Why are you so greedy?" "Yes, I understand that," said the middle son. "After all, I have less than he does." And they argued and they went, "Oh." And Baba said, "But I gave each one of you the same portion." And they argued and argued. So the stew was cold, and they went to bed. Well, one sad day, the old man did die. And that next day, well, the chief said, "Come to my courtyard. I have something to tell you." And so they gathered, and they walked down that dusty road, still talking. And they settled down, and they sat down. And they said, "Yes, Chief, we're here." And they bowed. The chief said, "Well, your father has left you an inheritance." "Oh, an inheritance," said the older. "Well, you know, I'm the oldest, so you're not getting everything." And the youngest said, "No, I am the youngest. I'm getting everything." The 4th son said, "I was his favorite." Well, they started bumping elbows and talking and rolling around in the dirt until the chief said, "Stop this moment now." So they sat down, they dusted their clothes off, and they continued to eye each other suspiciously. The chief continued, "Your father has decreed that he is going to allow all of his land and all his possessions to be shared by all of you. But first, you're going to have a task. And this task, I will tell you, that you must complete before the moon rises high in the sky. If not, you will be thrown out of the house as beggars. And so he began to open the box. There were 7 spools of various colors. And he handed the oldest the red, and then the blue, and then the green, and the yellow, and another yellow, and then it was orange, and the black, and the littlest one, he got the white thread. Oh, they were silent. And the chief said, well, from this day forth, this is what you're going to have to do. You are going to have to learn to make gold out of this 7 spools of thread. And from this day forth, you must not argue, you must not raise your hand against your brother, or we'll give all of your father's land and possession to the poorest people of the village. Oh, well. He said, yes, chief. He said, go, the sun is going to set soon. You don't have much time. And so they began to walk slowly in a single file down that dusty road towards their house, from the tallest to the smallest, from the oldest to the youngest. When they got home, they all sat in a circle, and something happened. Silence. Silence. Not a word was heard. Until the older brother said, you know, we need to make peace among each other. So let us shake hands and hug. And they did. So then they said, well, I know, said the third son. I believe that these 7 spools have gold nuggets in them. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think you're right, brother. I tell you what, let's go up here by the window where the sun is shining in, and let's hold our spools of thread and see if they do. Okay, I agree. And so they held up the red and the green and blue and the yellow and the orange and the white and even the black. And one brother said, well, it was a great idea, but you know, there's no gold nuggets. Fourth son said, you know, I do believe we could take 1 spool and just make a lot of cloth out of that. Well, wonderful idea, brother, but you know, I don't think we have enough thread for that. Oh, okay. I know, said the youngest. Our father would never give us a task that was impossible for us to do. Yes, we agree, we agree. The oldest said, I tell you what. What if we take all of it and make the most wonderful material ever? Oh, said the son, that's a wonderful idea. But you know, our people are accustomed to wearing clothes of one color. I understand, said the older brother, but what if it made it so beautiful that everyone would want to wear it? Oh, yes. Well, let's get started. And so the oldest went out into force and they began to cut the wood to make the loom, and the younger ones held it together and they bound it together and they began to weave. It was the yellow and the green and the red and the blue and the white and the black. And you could see all kinds of stripes, all kinds of symbols. In fact, some looked like bird wings. Finally, they had 7 bolts of cloth, multi-colored. And they put each bolt in their 7 baskets, and they took their baskets and placed them on their head, and they said, let's go to the market, let's hurry. And they started to walk very fast down that dusty road toward the marketplace, from the oldest to the youngest, from the tallest to the shortest. And when they got there to the marketplace, the oldest said, come, look at the most wonderful cloth in the world, come and look. And the people started to come and they, oh, lovely, the colors, oh, I like the colors. Are those birds' wings I see? I think so. And then, let me feel the texture. Oh, fine texture. And then they began to get quiet. And the crowd parted. For a man had just gotten off his wonderful black stallion, robed in splendid cloth, and he was coming through the middle of the crowd. He said, "Let me see this cloth man." Well. Beautiful, beautiful. I think this would make a perfect gift for the king. You see, everyone in the crowd knew who he was. He was the king's treasurer. I think, let's see. Oh, beautiful color, nice texture. I'll take it all. What's the price? Well, the oldest said, well, cloth fit for a king has a price that only a king can pay. 1 bag of gold. Oh, excellent. Took out a bag of gold and said, there it is. And they rolled up all of the bolts, put them in the baskets, and off they went. They said, we got to hurry, we have to hurry. We got to tell the chief of the good news. And they started running. Woo, they're running in single file. Running down that road. Woo, from the tallest to the smallest, from the oldest to the youngest. And finally, they got to the courtyard, sweating, almost out of breath. And the chief came out and sat on his chieftain's stool. He said, yes. We have good news, chief. We have good news. Look, we have turned the 7 spools into gold. Well, that's wonderful. But one thing, have you argued or fussed any time this day? Oh, no, said the youngest son. Oh, no. We've been too busy trying to work together. You have learned the lesson that your father wanted to teach you. Excellent. Well, that means that you now have inherited your father's land and all his possessions. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, we got it all. Oh, brother, what's the matter? The youngest had such a sad face. Well, you know, we have an inheritance, but the poor people of the village, they don't have an inheritance. Ah, said the oldest son, that's true. I tell you what if we teach, especially the men, but we teach everyone how to make this special cloth, and then the village will prosper. Wonderful idea. And off they went again, down to their home, and they began to teach carefully how to weave that marvelous cloth. And the village prospered, and the land prospered, and they honored their father as such. Now you may think, it's just a story, but should you be fortunate enough to go to Ghana, please go to Kumasi. Kumasi is that small village where they make cloth fit for a king. Now, some of us in years past have decided we want to look regal too. And so we do wear kente cloth, as it's called. So we, on those special occasions, can look regal too. If you will follow me, we're going to look at some kente right now. This is kente cloth. Ah, yes. But we're also standing here with all the things that we need to have a Kwanzaa celebration. Now, Kwanzaa is not a religious ceremony. It is cultural. Back in 1967, Dr. Malachut, professor of history in Los Angeles, California, decided that the people of African descent in the communities needed a chance to begin to think about what one could do to use their skills and their talents to benefit the family and the community and the world at large. And so it began. He said it could begin the day after Christmas, December 26th, and follow 7 days until January the 1st. And so we have that happening here. And if you're to set things up, you have a mat. And that mat is the foundation, the cultural foundation of the African community. You also have the first fruits, because Kwanzaa means the first fruits that are harvested so often in many countries in Africa. They produce such good food. Here we have some examples of fruit, but the corn is symbolizing the children. Even if you don't have a child in your home, remember it takes, in this African proverb, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So you too are raising a child. So we put corn here. And we also have the unity cup. And as we are in that celebration, we pass it around for each to say, I am going to do better by using this particular principle. Now, this is why we have 7 candles. Oh, I noticed, and you've noticed that they're different colors, and that's important. The black one represents the people of African descent. And the red represents all the trials and struggles we've gone through. And the green means, yes, the triumphs. But you first must light the black one. Now the black one stands for the first principle of what we call Nguzo Saba. And Nguzo Saba just means the 7 principles. And the 7 principles are umoja, unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, Ujima, collective work and responsibility, Ujamaa, yes, cooperative economics, Nia, meaning purpose, and Kuumba, creativity. And finally, Imani, faith. So we only celebrate one per day, and you usually begin with the first candle, being the black one. And this poor little green one, he just wants to he's just ready for the trials. And we light that first one, and that's the emotion. And the second day, we take the black one, and we light it again. And then the third day, you light the black and the red, and then you go to the green, because after every struggle, there is achievement, there is triumph, and you continue all the way through. On the 7th day is the time when everyone brings their favorite meal, and they make a time to be able to gather together. Now, a couple of things that you need to say as you were doing this. So, I know that at the very beginning, you heard, "Habari gani?" What's the news in Kiswahili? What's the news? The news is, the response is always whatever that principle is for the day. And today is what? Yes. Umoja. So if I say, "Habari gani?" Umoja. And we say, "Habari gani," and we say that. And each one, we go through that. Then we also have to bring everything together. And we do that by grabbing all the goodness and bringing it down, saying Harambe. And we will do that 7 times. But the 7th one, you hold it a long time. And we go Harambe, 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 Harambe. Each time. Well, that is Kwanzaa. And many of us have been celebrating it since 1967 when it came to Chicago. Now, the one thing that you probably didn't realize was that there were no gifts here. But there are. Gifts during Kwanzaa happens to be not toys, but it can be something handmade or books. And so, now you see, it's all there around there.
Hey, everybody, come on and join us. Stand on up and get going with the being with us. Happy Kwanzaa.
Start again, 4, 3, 2, 1, and...